A silver giant egg, full of great energy, slowly falls. As the energy bursts out of his body, everything on Earth gradually turns to ash. Faced with the cries of others, the man can only watch them burn out. In the end, even his hands began to turn to ash. Fortunately, all this is a fantasy seen by men, and this giant egg has the ability to destroy the world. Decades ago, a man hid it himself, but he knew nothing about it. The man's name is Ivan. He is a patient with a mental disorder. He often has some very strange dreams. He saw a group of strangers fighting each other. This situation began when he was in his teens. Ivan thought it was a mental illness. Because of this, he lost his job again and again. But the cost of treating mental illness is too high. In order to get the drug, he used the memory in his mind. He made an extremely sharp Japanese long knife. Then he brought this long knife to the buyer. Seeing this sharp and handsome long knife, the buyer was very satisfied. The customer laughed at Ivan because it was the first time they had seen someone trade with drugs as a condition. And the buyer behind him was constantly playing with the long knife. But when he saw his woman's eyes staring at Ivan, he came up and asked the woman to stretch out her arm. Ivan was scared when he saw it, but this guy was very polite. Not only did he ask Ivan to leave him alone, he also asked his men to aim the gun at him. The buyer's long knife was about to fall. Ivan quickly grabbed the weapon. Then he raised his knife and solved the big fat. Then he put the long knife on the buyer's neck. This sudden scene scared everyone. The woman also ran away quickly at this time. Ivan took the buyer and moved to the door. Then he took the pill and ran away quickly. Faced with the attack behind him, he hid all the way. But he didn't run a few steps. He was blocked by a group of police cars at the intersection. Seeing that the situation was not right, he climbed up the fence. But the moment he stood up, a scene like a dream reappeared. He found a cliff under his feet. It's all white around. Then he lost consciousness. He jumped straight down and hit a car hard. When Ivan was arrested, a professor was studying the weapons made by Ivan. He told this information to a woman named Nora. The two speculated that Ivan might be the one they've been looking for. And he realized that someone must be looking for him, so he decided to take action right away. Ivan, on the other hand, was sitting in the interrogation room. He thought he was making a weapon. That's why he was locked up here. Then a big bearded man walked in. He put the long knife in front of him, and he looked familiar to Ivan. Then he talked about their acquaintance. These words made Ivan confused. Then the big beard talked about Ivan's past. Then he took out a bunch of strange things from the bag. He said it was Ivan's stuff. Seeing Ivan look confused, he took out a weapon. He aimed at him after he put a bullet in it. He asked him if he remembered these things, but no matter what Ivan said, he didn't know. The other party will shoot. In the last moment of his life, Ivan looked at the last thing. There were some strange memories in his mind. He regained consciousness. He picked up the weapon and aimed at the big beard. But he didn't expect that there was no bullet in the gun. But this action made the other party excited. Before he could continue to talk, a luxury car suddenly crashed into the wall and rushed in. The woman in the car came out and attacked the big beard. She took Ivan and ran away from here. But the big beard reacted very quickly. He immediately got on an armored car and chased him. The two of them chased each other in the police station. After causing a lot of damage, he rushed straight to the street. The police and the big beard were staring at them. The woman actually pressed the button. She changed the steering wheel to Ivan's seat. Then, while Ivan was driving, he took out a weapon and caused an explosion. Then he went away. And this woman is Nora, who talked to the professor before. She told Ivan that the big beard's name was Bartholomew, and she asked Ivan the same question as the big beard. Ivan still thought he was dreaming. Then Nora took him to a warehouse. A private plane was parked here. She knew Ivan must be very confused. She said she could tell him the answer. The clips in Ivan's mind, in fact, they are all memories of Ivan's past life. This is why Ivan can make a long knife. And there are so many things he hasn't learned. These are all the skills he has in his memory. But Ivan didn't believe it at all. But when he heard that he could know the answer as long as he got on the plane, he still chose to try it. On the other side of Bartholomew, because he lost Ivan, let his female assistant check immediately. Find out where Nora is taking Ivan. At this time, on the plane, Nora explained to Ivan, people like them are called infinite. There are only less than 450 people in the world, born with memories of their past lives. And it's divided into two factions. One is the Bartholomew virtual faction. The ultimate goal is to destroy the world. The infinite faction they are in, they insist on using their talents to benefit humans. Among them, Ivan is the most talented person. At the same time, he is also their leader. Although it's hard to believe, but after arriving at the infinite faction's base, Ivan was shocked by the scene in front of him. When he saw the disciples practicing swordsmanship bowing to him, he knew that these people all hoped he was the reincarnation of the man in the legend. Then, in order to restore his memory, he brought him to an experiment room. He met the current person in charge, the old woman. When he stood at the central lab, he saw the virtual projection of Bartholomew. That's when he knew that his past life was a very good comrade with him. But because Bartholomew was tired of this talent, he created an egg called the Egg of Destruction. This Egg of Destruction can destroy the whole world. The last thing was that Ivan hid it, and make Bartholomew unable to make a second one. Now, only Ivan knows where that egg is. So he has to stop Bartholomew from finding the Egg of Destruction, save the whole world. At the same time, Bartholomew has already found the professor. In order to find out the base of Nora, he tortured the professor mercilessly, asked him to tell the location of the base. But the professor wouldn't give in to him. The faith in his heart wouldn't let him say a word. Seeing the professor so stubborn, he didn't say a word. He took out a weapon and aimed it at him. At this time, Ivan was led by Nora. He came to a huge corpse room. He saw his former body. They kept this body with technology and told Ivan he is the most powerful of all the infinites. The ability is also beyond ordinary people. So now, if you want him to go back to the past, you have to start with the mind and the body. So Ivan was doing physical training, trying to restore his memory with the help of technology. The effect of this method is very helpful. The central memory in Ivan's mind was greatly stimulated. It's all starting to get active. His power is also starting to recover. He can beat his former comrade June. After that, he came to June's armory. He saw a weapon called a memory extractor. This bullet will extract the memory of the infinite and lock the soul in it. There are already more than 200 members of the Persepolis. The members of the Persepolis were imprisoned by the Persepolis with this weapon. This was the first time Ivan knew that the war between the two sides was so cruel. Then he found Nora. He saw her on the wall with a picture of a strange man. This man is the friend in his memory. His name is Ejiofor. He is also Nora's lover. In the last life, in order to stop the Persepolis conspiracy, they died in the chase. But Ejiofor won't come back, because his memory and soul have been imprisoned by the Persepolis. This let Ivan know what he had to do. Until the scientific treatment again, the memory in his mind is getting clearer and clearer. But because of this stimulation, he almost had an accident. It's just because of the steel plate in Ivan's head caused Ivan's thoughts to break. Now only a man named the Craftsman can help Ivan. The other side of the Persepolis used the memory extractor, got the professor's memory, and locked his memory and soul up. Then he immediately sent a large number of soldiers. According to the memory, they came to the base of the Guardians. Because Ivan, they have set out to find the Craftsman, causing the whole base to have no main combat power. The old woman was directly caught by the Persepolis. I didn't expect they to be a couple in the past life, but because of different ideas, they broke up in the end. At the same time, Ivan and the others have come to a casino, met the legendary Craftsman. He is also an infinite, and is good at helping them find their memories. By the way, scientific research. When he learned that Persepolis was looking for a test bomb, and only when Ivan knew, he immediately realized the identity of the other party. Just one look, the Craftsman saw the problem with Ivan. Now to reset Ivan's memory, you have to go into a device. It's just that this method is likely to fail. But Ivan is not a coward. After knowing his fate, he decided to go on the scene himself. Unknowingly at this time, Persepolis, after extracting the memory of the old woman, has also come to the casino, and it's moving in the monitoring. As the device is filled with water, Ivan's consciousness is also beginning to fade. and the heart rate is dropping rapidly. Looking at the new map, it's already flat. They saw that Ivan had no movement. I saved him right away. But Ivan still didn't wake up. Just when a few people thought they were completely disappointed, the memory in Ivan's mind kept flashing. Finally opened his eyes. He finally remembered the location of the test tube. Go inside and find it. This is a clue. Because he thinks the infinite body is just a shell, so no one would care at all. So before it happened, he hid the test tube in his body. After seeing Ivan say the location, Persepolis immediately began to act. He sent a large number of soldiers to charge. The blue-haired woman was careless, a shot in the abdomen. Even Ivan was seriously injured. When they came to the escape elevator, he had lost his life. In order to stop the pursuit of the other party, June decided to sacrifice himself. He started fighting with the armed soldiers, used the high-tech weapons in the armory, killed them in an instant. But in the end, he was still no match for Bartholomew. Died in his hands. The other side of Nora gave the injured Ivan to the craftsman. Go to the base of Bartholomew, alone, ready to take back Ivan's body. But the other party has taken the lead, got the test tube, started the operation, and Ivan, who awoke after learning that Nora had set out, immediately held the injured body to help Nora. But at this time, Nora, because of the failure of the attack, has been discovered by Bartholomew. The other party sent a large number of soldiers and unmanned fighters to hunt down Nora. Fortunately, Nora's skills used the terrain of the woods, avoided the pursuit of drones and soldiers, and successfully waited for Ivan's response. But at this time, Bartholomew has taken the test tube on the plane. Ivan drove across the field to the villa. In the middle, he was hit by a female assistant. The vehicle overturned, and Nora's abdomen was also seriously injured. Fortunately, the cooperation of the two was very tacit. After defeating the guards, Nora stayed to save her compatriots. Ivan set off alone. When the plane just took off, Ivan drove a motorcycle, used the hill to fly over the sky, landed on the plane and destroyed an engine. Then he seemed to remember something. It's like the previous life. Use the energy around you to stand on the plane, then use the weapon to enter the interior. Then he and Bartholomew's battle. In one swoop, in the fight, the test tube accidentally fell out.
Ivan jumped down without hesitation, and Bartholomew followed suit. But fortunately, Ivan took a shot, directly kicked him out, then took the test tube. But in the end, he fell into the sea. The other side of Nora, with the help of the craftsman, entered the office of imprisoning his compatriots. He pressed the switch of the bomb. As the explosion sounded, all the compatriots were released. Many years later, the reincarnated Nora met with Arthur again, and Ivan has been reborn, became a young man with strong martial arts. But this time, he successfully regained his memory and met the same reincarnated craftsman. A new life begins again.